show who you are on some more single track here. And yeah, you can definitely feel how capable the bike is. It feels solid.
One of the most popular electric bike brands has now entered the most popular category of electric bikes, fat tire electric bikes.
That's right, Lectric has done it now with the Lectric XPeak here located behind us. In this comprehensive review, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna run through all of the components. Then we're gonna take you along for some first-person riding footage. We're also gonna bring you along on some pretty gnarly trails that we found here in Phoenix to really put this bike to the test. And then at the end, we're gonna give you our pros and cons list about the Lectric XPeak.
But first, let's take a closer look. First, we should apologize for all the dust on these electric bikes. Had a little fun here today. But before we get into all the components, one quick favor. If you are looking to purchase any electric bike, you can support our content for free by using our affiliate link down in the description before you make your purchase. Thank you so much for your support. With that, let's dive into all the components on this affordably priced electric bike.
And if you weren't aware, Lectric is a juggernaut in the direct-to-consumer e-bike space, on track to surpass 400,000 units sold before the end of 2023. And if that fact alone isn't enough for you, here's some other stats. Every other 20-inch e-bike sold is electric. 1 in 5 e-bikes sold today is electric, and they account for 50% of the folding e-bike market. So we figure that you've at least heard of the Lectric brand. Now, how have they done these things? By offering US-based customer support, listening to their customers, and using their scale to drive down their prices. So how does the XPeak compare to their other products? Let's find out.
In true electric fashion, they like to shake things up when it comes to value and price, and that's no different with the XPeak. This bike is priced at an impressive $12.99, though they're launching with an accessory pack. So if you want the most amount of accessories, get the best deal. Be sure to check out the link down in the description.
The XPeak is gonna be offered in the 2 frame options you see here. On the right side of me here, we have this light colored Step-Thru frame. And on the left side here, you see this high step, which has more of a darker color scheme. Just a quick note, this is a prototype color. We will put a picture of the actual production model color scheme on the screen now.
And this is where I'm gonna jump in here because I'm going to recommend the Step-Thru for increased accessibility. JT, why don't you show off the nice Step-Thru?
Yeah, it's a very easy to step over bike. It's really easily accessible. And like Ryan is getting at, the best e-bike for anyone out there is gonna be the one that you're gonna ride the most, that you're gonna be able to ride the longest. So here we go. And there is a lot of seat tube adjustment here, so you can get that seat height set pretty nicely. It's a little high. Ryan might have been the last one riding this bike. So I am a 5'7" rider with about a 29-inch inseam, and this bike fits me very comfortably.
And even if you're taller like me, at 6 feet tall, you'll be able to fit on the Step-Thru with plenty of seat adjustment. Or if you'd prefer, get the high step model. There's some different things going on in the front end, but first, not surprisingly, hydraulic disc brakes for great stopping power, paired with 180mm rotors. JT, tell me why you're excited about the front.
That's gonna be this RST Renegade front fork. This is an 80mm travel front fork, but one of the other reasons I'm excited for this coil front fork is gonna be down here. If you look, we have a through axle. First of all, it's gonna provide a lot of rigidity. It's gonna be easy to install, and that's gonna be the biggest point, is that the assembly for this bike is super simple. Line that front wheel up, slide the front through axle in. It's a very quick and easy process.
And that fork, if you look online, is a $400 fork, which is one of the standout features of this electric bike. And in true electric fashion, they don't want the customer to do the assembly, which is why they made it super easy with this through axle.
Simply release and unthread. And then to install is simply the reverse of that. It threads into the other side of the fork. And then once that is nice and snug, you simply push the handle around to lock it into place. There is also a preload knob and a nice lockout knob.
Up front are Chow Yang 26 by 4-inch tires. Yes, you can take this electric bike off-road. The bike comes with plastic fenders, both front as well as in the back. It comes with an integrated front light, though this is the optional Elite headlight, as well as a rear integrated light.
We have the standard 4 bolts up here on the front for your standard electric accessories, as well as we have this really nice cable wrap that is wrapped all the way from controls all the way into the down tube.
Let's jump into the cockpit. This is going to be familiar if you already own a electric e-bike. We have ergonomic non-locking grips, hydraulic levers with brake cutoff, a Shimano 7-speed thumb shifter, and new for electric is a right-hand thumb throttle on the XPeak. This is the standard electric display, 3 buttons on the left, power button on the right, battery capacity in the top, speed front and center, pedal assist, 0 all the way up to 5, odometer in the bottom. Pressing the power button will change what's displayed, trip, voltage, current, time, and back to odometer. And be sure to reference the electric manual because there's a lot of helpful information in there if you want to customize your electric bike.
And the Lectric XPeak is using the Lectric PWR power delivery system, which uses a current-based power delivery system. We try and talk about that a little bit more in our first-person riding footage.
Moving to the rest of the frame, 3 mounting points here for bottle cages. There's additional mounting points on the top tube version right here.
So the battery removal is going to be the same whether it is the high step or the low step version. The keys go over here on the driver's side of the bike. You twist it towards the back of the bike or down. And then there is a unlock lever on the bottom. The battery will kind of hang up there. You simply push this button and that frees up the battery. And you simply have to turn the wheel a little bit to get some space to get it out. Here's a look at the battery pack. On the top of the battery here, we have a color changing LED, which references the current battery voltage. Over here, we have a look at the charging port. The battery can be charged both on or off the bike. And here is a look at the specs. This is a 48 volt, 14 amp hour. That means it is a 672 watt hour battery.
And if you're buying this bike, consider our battery bags that are waterproof and flame resistant over at shop.ebikeescape.com.
And while we have the battery out, this is going to be a perfect time to talk about battery safety. One thing that we are super excited to announce, that I'm sure Lectric was super excited to announce, is that the XPeak is going to come to the market being UL certified.
This is the way the industry is going, so we're super excited that Lectric has adopted the UL standards. So now if you're in New York City, you can pick up an electric e-bike. And furthering safety, this bike is also e-mountain bike certified, which is something you're simply not going to find at this price point. And we said easy assembly. Check out how you remove and put back on the pedals. They're quick release. We first saw this on the Lectric Expedition. And that's a good reminder, if you're looking at any electric bike, we've reviewed all of them. So if the XPeak isn't for you, check out some of our other reviews.
And the seat on the Lectric XPeak is their more sleek and firm bicycle-oriented seat, has a nice traditional shape.
There's an optional rear rack, torque arm to help keep this wheel where it's supposed to be. The XPeak is sporting a 750 watt hub motor that peaks over 1300 watts. It's a similar motor as the Expedition, but they decreased how much noise it makes, and it is surely a quieter ride.
The drivetrain on the XPeak starts with the 11 to 28 tooth rear freewheel. We come out to a Shimano tourney rear derailleur. And if you follow the chain up, we have a 46 tooth front chainring. One other thing Lectric is launching with the XPeak is a whole nother line of accessories to address some more hunting and fishing needs, as well as they are coming out with a winter package. And being that we are from Wisconsin, I'm excited to put some of those studded and hand warmers to the test.
But that's enough talk about components. Let's see what this bike can do. Take it on some first-person riding footage. So JT's gonna take you on some off-roading in a second, but let's get into some first-person riding footage. This is a Class 2 electric bike with a top speed of 20 miles per hour. Whether you're using the throttle or pedal assist, in the advanced settings, you can change it to a Class 3 electric bike, which I already did, so we can take this bike up to 28 miles per hour. This is a cadence sensor, which means if I'm pedaling, it's gonna give me the amount of power that I have selected in the various pedal assist levels. It's also current-based, which means it's going to give me a certain amount of current in each pedal assist level. So you'll notice that I'm likely going to just creep up the speed over time. With that, let's see what this bike can do. And throttle alone, here we go, 3, 2, 1, throttle only. Nice gentle takeoff. 7, 9, 12, 14, 16, 18 miles an hour, 19, and the electric display is reading 19.7 miles an hour. All right, let's go through the various levels of pedal assist. I'm going to shift this bike all the way down into first gear, and we'll start from a stop. I really like that the motor just engages nice and easily, just makes the bike more accessible, say you're new to electric bikes. But I am going to have to shift up as I creep up in speed here. Going about 12 miles an hour, let's go into fourth gear. And this is a nice leisurely cadence. And it looks like we're getting 6 amps. Let's go ahead and go into pedal assist level 2. Now it's showing 10 amps. Shift up to fifth gear. Approaching 20 miles an hour. 19. All right, pedal assist level 3 up to 14 amps. 21, 22. I'm gonna shift up to sixth gear. Again, leisurely cadence. 24 miles an hour. And we'll turn around. And let's go into pedal assist level 4. 19 amps, getting up to speed very quickly. And I just want to emphasize how quiet this motor is because I can barely hear it back there. 25 miles an hour. And this is maybe where I would shift up into seventh gear. But this is a class 3 electric bike after all. So let's go into pedal assist level 5, 23 amps, according to the display. 24 miles an hour, 25, 26. Display is reading 27.5. Oh, getting close to 28 now. GPS speed reading 27 miles an hour as well. So undoubtedly, a plenty capable electric bike. And of course you can make it as much of a workout as you want. All right, with that, JT's gonna take us on some gnarly off-roading on the XPeak.
So here we are on the Lectric XPeak. This is their new mountain bike, e-mountain bike. They've got here really kind of an adventure companion. This is our first ride on it. And so we weren't really sure what to expect from a brand like Lectric coming out with an e-mountain bike. And so far, pretty impressed. It is very capable. I've been putting it through its paces. Arizona, or Phoenix in general, is known for having like some really rocky and dirt trails. And this bike is handling it very, very easily. Here's a little drop down some of these rocks here. We'll fill it. It's a little bouncy as it's a hardtail, so there's no rear suspension. That front fork is definitely still a coil fork, and it is an 80 millimeter travel front fork, which I do feel quite a bit. So here we are in some more single track here, and yeah, you can definitely feel how capable the bike is. It feels solid. I've switched bikes now. I'm on the high step, so more of a standard rigid frame setup. And yeah, it is very capable and handling this terrain with pretty relative ease here. The motor is, it can't be understated because I feel like it's definitely gonna be being called on for a lot more torque in this environment. And it makes it up with really not a lot of issue here. I mean, then you hit some of these rockier sections and it just kind of crawls right over it. I mean, those 26 by 4 inch tires, very capable. And on this type of terrain, it's really kind of perfect for it. I was wondering if I was gonna find myself like dropping a chain in this type of environment because there is not a clutch rear derailleur. I mean, this is kind of the worst case scenario, all the bouncy terrain, all the rocks, everything like that, and no issues. It has not really struggled with much of this. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of a hill climb. Ryan's up there. Let me see how, so I can see how this bike does. So I'm in, obviously, pedal assist level 5 here. And I am pedaling, just because I feel like in this environment I have to pedal. And here we go. I mean, it's not blazing up the hill at all, but it's controllable. It's nice. It eases on the power. You can definitely feel the motor helping you up. I mean, this is loose, rocky, and inclined, and making it up with relative ease here. I mean, it's just clawing up this hill on this loose terrain. So here we are. Oh, well, that's it. There we go. So there we go. I got a little loose. Oh yeah, we're not making it up that. Super loose up there. I mean, that overall, I mean, look at this. These are just, loose rocks. And it did finally, push a little bit too much power through some of these rocks and throw me offside, but that's more rider technique than anything, keeping your weight centered. I mean, this bike is definitely capable, made it up, relative ease. I'm pretty impressed. And after that little bit of hill there, now we get to go down this terrain. You can really see how these, 26 by 4 inch tires, with relative ease, just kind of clawing their way through. I mean, it's just like any other fat tire e-bike, or, when you're riding on a fat bike on loose terrain, you just gotta keep your weight over the bike. You've got good, reliable hydraulic brakes here for your descents, help keep you slowed down. I mean, and you're not even needing to use any motor power here, it just kind of blazes down this here. Here we are, a little bit. I mean, and here's a little bit of like softer, a little bit better packed, but you can see like how when the bike's geometry feels really nice. I mean, it's just kind of just blazing through this. I mean, I'm doing 20 miles an hour here down this trail. This is kind of like a crushed gravel, maybe access road style terrain here, and no problems there.
Concluding thoughts, let's first talk about what sets this fat tire electric bike out from pretty much every one on the market today in the affordable category. First off, you're simply not going to find many fat tire electric bikes at the $1,300 price point. The second piece is that through axle.
And a name brand RST fork on a $1,300 bike is pretty much unheard of. And the reasoning for that front fork was to be able to achieve that eMTB standard, which involves, as Levi and the kind of them were saying, almost them beating on the frame to ensure that it can withstand the beating that you're gonna put on your mountain bike day in and day out.
One thing I love that Lectric does is their focus on customer experience, which means virtually anyone is going to be able to assemble this electric bike, and that's true for all of their e-bikes. And another thing that's awesome is the UL certification. We're seeing a lot of brands move down that path, but just having that certified battery just makes you feel a little bit better about the electric bike that you're buying. The bike uses a cadence sensor, but their power system is actually more of a natural riding experience compared to some other electric bikes, and it's not speed-based, so it doesn't just ramp you up to a current speed. It's a very natural riding experience.
And one other thing that may not be apparent to most people out there is that Lectric does listen to feedback and advice from customers. And on this bike, where that shines through is gonna be in that rear hub motor. That is a very similar rear hub motor to the Expedition. And one thing Ryan and I have both experienced on our Expeditions is gonna be that rear motor is a little bit louder than what we've seen on other e-bikes. And this motor putting out the same amount of power is almost whisper quiet. It's quieter than some of the mid-drive e-bikes that Ryan and I have ridden recently.
You also get hydraulic disc brakes. You get Shimano components that we've seen on most of their brands. The electric display is really easy to see. And of course, there are a ton of accessories that already exist for this electric bike because it's backwards compatible with a lot of the accessories, but they're also developing some new accessories. Let's get into some of the key considerations. One, battery capacity. Now at $1,300, you can't expect a big battery. 14 amp hours is about standard we see. I think as we experienced on the mountain biking, that Shimano tourney derailleur is on the more entry-level components. So if you're really going to take this bike off-road, you might want to upgrade to a different derailleur, perhaps one with a clutch. Otherwise, your chain's going to be bouncing around. But on anything else besides some of the gnarly stuff we are riding today, the derailleur is going to be just fine. Riding around campsites, off-road, paths, crushed gravel, those things are gonna be just fine.
And that's kind of one thing that, talking to some of the product engineers today at Lectric, they were very clear about. They're like, they are avid mountain bikers themselves, and they understand that there are higher quality components out there. There are, you could spend $1,200, $1,500 on a front fork, the cost of this bike on just a front fork alone. But they determined what was best for a large majority of their clientele. And then if there's people like maybe myself that want to upgrade those products and components down the line, they can. One other consideration for maybe some of the bigger guys out there, I'm a 225-pound rider myself, so I experienced this today, is that this front fork may be a little bit soft for you. So you may have to spend a little bit more time dialing in the spring on the preload, or even maybe run that lockout slightly closed in order to get a nice cushy ride.
It also comes with a thumb throttle, which I was personally really enjoying for the off-roading we were doing today. Some people just prefer twist grip throttles. We both ride electric bikes that have both, something to be aware of if you're considering this electric bike.
Other than those few considerations, this bike compared to other fat tire e-bikes on the market really kind of blows some of them out of the water, coming in at $1,300 and having the specs and componentry that it has, and also the safety ratings are some big things that we do not see at this price point.
So if you've watched this review and decided that the XPeak is your next electric bike, do us a favor and use our link down in the description. Thank you so much for your support. Let us know what you think about the XPeak down in the comment section below. Is this the fat tire electric bike that you've been waiting for? Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.